G'day, bird nerds, plant nerds, habitat gardeners. I'm Grant. I am a horticulturist. I am also a bird nerd, and it's a bit cold. I'm coming to you from the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri people. That puts me in Melbourne, in southeastern Australia. Um, and it's cold and it's been wet, but where I am, we haven't been flooding. If you're in one of those locations where you've been getting heaps of rain and are maybe affected by the floods, good luck. Um, and I hope the damage is minimal. Today we're going to talk about orange flowered plants that you can use in your habitat garden. The purpose of these live streams is really just to talk about gardening, and I am a very avid Australian native plant enthusiast. Um, so I'm always up for suggesting plants you can use in your garden in any kind of situation. That's sort of my skill, I guess. And excuse me while I slurp a nice coffee. Um, and maybe help solve some problems if you've got them in your garden. I'm guessing something that will come up quite frequently in the next little while will be the problem of waterlogging and wet feet, the colloquial term for waterlogging for plants in gardens. So maybe that's something we can look at a bit down the track. Um, so I'm just having a look at some of the disastrous things that are going on in the conservation world. Yeah, we did do a show during the week about Australia's new Environment Minister, Murray Watt, and we were speculating that he may well be in the pocket for big ag and big mining, and it looks like he's lining us up for a big mining uh, announcement this week. Did you know that you and I probably pay the same amount of mining royalties that many of the uh, gas and oil miners pay in Australia? Just putting that out there. All right, orange flowered plants to use in your garden. Oh, before we get going, I do want to say hello because a couple of um, retweeters and likers this morning that were notable. I think Barb, hello Barb. Cedar, if you're there, if you're watching, hello. And Claire's a bell. Jody Vining. Always love it when people are sharing the social media stuff. So thank you. That was all on Blue Sky, and on the YouTube, Bronwyn Fredericks. Not the YouTube, on the Hell site, on the Twitter. So good morning to you if you're here, Bronwyn. Nice to see you. Haven't really been chin wagging with you for a while. Orange. Why would you use orange? Well, because it's highly arresting for our eyes, and it also gives us a tonal intergrade between using reds and yellows, and it's a really good contrast for dark green. And we have heaps of Australian plants that are pretty well available in and I'll go through some of the nurseries that. Um, well, last week they were advertising stock of many of these plants we'll talk about today. Um, in the thumbnail that I used for today's stream, I highlighted the one of the kangaroo paws, the Anigoxanthus, uh, and I think it was the bush inferno. It wasn't actually labelled in the picture that I used, but I think it was the bush inferno. There's a couple of really nice uh, orange uh, orange varieties: bush inferno, bush blaze. Um, there's a Kings Park Federation flame, which is from a different range of the cultivar kangaroo paws, but it's readily out there. They're great to pop in for some spring and summer colour. They're a tufting plant if you're not uh, aware of what the kangaroo paw is. So strappy lily-like leaves, and then a flower head that looks like a kangaroo's paw. Multi-flower on a single stem. Generally around 30, 40 centimetres tall. Some of the taller varieties, Bush Inferno is quite a tall one, can be up to a metre, even more. So that's a great plant to use. I would, I should say, Stan, if you're here, did you get any extra rain? It looked like you did get quite a bit of rain on your on the weather map that I was watching at watching on the news. Now, as I always say, these live streams work a lot better when people tell me where they're from, if they've got any either outstanding plants performing in their gardens, any popular with the birds or other wildlife, or any particular problems that you are having in your garden. All right, so I mentioned kangaroo paws. Let's talk Banksias. Now, there's quite a few really outstanding Banksias that are orange flowered. The first one I want to mention is Banksia ericifolia, or as I went through for years and years, calling it ericofolia. And the standard variety has an orange flower, but there are some cultivars and some hybrids based on ericifolia, like giant candles, that are outstanding for attracting nectar eating birds. They also bring in insects that like feeding on nectar, so you'll find a lot of ants visiting those flowers. The giant candles has very large flower spikes. I mean, sort of double the size of the normal ericifolia flower spikes. They are a great foundational building block kind of plant in a native garden. You can plant them towards the back of any garden bed, and because they can be 3, even 4 meters tall, and they've got quite an open habit. You can use them towards the back of a bed, but not at the very back if you want to put a really dense sort of hedging and cover plant behind it. So, yeah, seek it out. really easy to propagate too, Banksia ericifolia. Some of the other Banksias that feature orange, Banksia victoria and Banksia burdettii would be two that I would recommend. They require much sandier and much better drained soils. They're West Australian species. Ericifolia is an eastern states variety or species, and a bit more adaptable to some of the wetter soils. But in my experience, don't like long periods of inundation. They don't like to be waterlogged, but they can handle a short period of really wet weather. So, just trying to think if there's any others that are basically orange. I think most of the others I would call more red or yellows. Now grevilleas. Now I could rattle off thousands of grevilleas, but I'm going to stick to just a couple of cultivars. And the reason I'm mentioning these is because they are because they're really orange. A couple that are orangey pink, I'm not really going to talk about, but there are quite a few with in the Robin Gordon and Superb group that tend to have orangey flowers. Peaches and Cream is one, but then it sort of starts a little bit orangey, but then it fades off to pink and even white. So if you're looking for orange, I wouldn't be really I wouldn't be going there first. These varieties of these cultivars, Loopy Lou, Sunkissed, and Apricot Glow, are the ones I would mention. And if you're in an arid zone, Terridifolia, which is a silent P, PT, Grevillea terridifolia. That's a great one for arid, semi-arid locations with it's a large shrub, open shrub, with a large toothbrush style flower. And that would be an excellent one if you are in an arid or semi-arid region. Does not really love being inundated, inundated, sitting in water, not adapted for it. Some of these cultivars have really extended flowering periods too, so they're a ripper. Now I'm going to move to a couple of the small plants. One of my favourites is a Hybertia stellaris. There is an improved variety called Orange Stars, or it's marketed as Orange Stars. It's a beautiful, small, upright plant that's really great for containers, rockeries, any small raised beds. I had success with it in Gippsland. So I'm thinking that provided you have a well-draining soil and a position with a good amount of sun during the day, that you should experience success trying out Hybertia stellaris. and it's got little cute little orange flowers, um, five petaled, uh, five petaled. Maybe it might have more. It might even have more, but it's called Hybertia stellaris because the flowers are star-like. Um, it's a stunning little plant. Insects visit it regularly. I also used to find little caterpillars eating the leaves. The leaves are quite pointy, bright green, and the flowers are the main feature, but ideal for rockeries uh, and and containers. Um, it it flowers in late spring, early to midsummer, and when it does flower, it's a stunning little plant. Um, Stan, good on you. I'm glad you're looking them up. Stan says hello, good morning to everyone. Uh, let's go orange flowers. Good job looking up the plants. I'm going to do a video, a short video with some images, so that'll go up over the weekend. But I am producing a little handout. That's why I looked up where you can buy them, where you can find them. I wanted to update my nursery list, so I've done that, and we'll get that available for people to request. Hopefully, make it easy to download. If not, I'll just send it out to anyone who requests it. Um, I'm working on a list of 50, but it's a bit hard to find 50 that are reliable in cultivation. Uh, Corazima cordatum, again, another small uh, pea flowered uh, plant. So it's in the Fabaceae family. Uh, the best way I can describe this, if you've never seen it before, I'm sure you're familiar with some of the native plants that look like. I mean, when I was a kid, we called them egg and bacon plants. Sort of, there are lots of Pultoneas and Divisias in this group. But the Corazima cordatum is a small plant with a really interesting uh, shaped leaf. It's a bit spiky on the end, but it forms uh, I call it heart shape. Uh, I think it's a really interesting geometric shape, but I guess some people can say it's heart shaped. But the most amazing thing is the flower, and it is orange, but it also has this um, sort of intense center that can be purplish. So it's one of those plants that I would include. I think I actually included it in the blue flower episode we did quite a while ago, because some of the varieties, it's quite variable. If it's been grown from seed, you'll get a lot of variability in the flowers. And I suspect, I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect the different nutrients that the different kind of fertilizers or composts that people are using on their garden beds may affect the intensity of the colors. But it's a beauty. It and one of the other advantages it has in a garden, a wildlife garden for people like us. Uh, Apart from the fact that it has sort of the pea being pea flowered, when it goes to seed, it does have those um, hard seeds that some of the ants and wasps will like to carry away and use, and even the parrots and doves might like to eat. That's not uh, the main thing. it gives you flowers in winter, from mid to late winter into early spring. So it can be a really good feature plant at a time where there's not a lot else going on in the garden. Yeah, Corazima caudatum, heart leaf flame pea, um, Aramophilas. We talked a fair bit about Aramophila last week. I think I told Stan to go and look for some. Did you find any, Stan? We talked about Calbarry carpet, I think, last week. There's a ground cover that is marketed under, and it's a variety of Aramophila glabra, and it's marketed as amber carpet, and it has orange flowers. I should have taken some photos. So there's actually this variety is growing in my local shopping precinct um, as a mulch in a really high traffic area, and so people ride their bikes over it and drag their shopping trolleys over it and walk over it next to the traffic light pole. So really, really hardy. Handles extremes of temperature, long periods without a lot of water. So it's an ideal drought tolerant plant, and flowers over a really long over a long period of time. They're flowering now here in Melbourne. I've noticed it flowering intermittently over most of the year, but it's in full flower now. There are a couple of other cultivars with orange flowers in the Aramophila group. Fire and Ice is another one you might like to check out. I should say, if any of you got any orange flowered plants you'd like to recommend in your garden. Now I'm moving through to another easy one to find. It's a Coria pulchella, which is one of the small varieties or small species of Coria, and there is an improved selection cultivar Orange Glow. This plant is generally below knee height, ample bell-shaped, pendulous bell-shaped flowers, winter through to spring, likes a part shade, part sun position. Will struggle in really dense shade, but in an area of the garden that is perhaps too shady for most of your plants, you'll get a reasonable performance out of Coria pulchella Orange Glow. Ideal for containers as well, so do think about that. It's pretty forgiving in its soil types. I've seen them growing in fairly heavy, not total clay, but in quite a clayey, I've seen them growing in. I'm just trying to think of the percentages of the soil. They're probably not very helpful. Any good potting mix will do well with just about all of your Corias, but in a garden bed, as long as you got a lot of a good amount of organic matter in your soil, and your soil will remain fairly cool. I know we've talked about the cool root run often, talking about Baronias. Corriers need a very similar situation, except for maybe some of the reflexes and Coria alba that are a bit more adaptable to um, drying out and hotter locations. So a fair bit of mulch and a cool root run, and you'll do well with Coria pulchella. Um, Glenn, that's a very good suggestion. Glenn is mentioning verticordias. They are fabulous. I haven't featured verticordias today because a lot of people find them very difficult to grow. So I'd love to know what your success has been with verticordias, Glenn. Tell us if they're in what kind of position they're in, or if you had to try a few different times to get them going. Now, um, Stan's mentioned, I'll go to the native nursery next week. Now that it's rained, yeah. How many mil did you get on Kangaroo Island, Stan? It looked like there was quite a bit going on. Also got a text this morning saying it's 20% off for Stance plants at the Mitre 10. It's our only other nursery. Stan, I hope they've got a good selection there. Let me just try something else out. Bear with me, folks, while I look something up. I'm going to see if they're advertising anything in their nursery already. Oh, they don't make a feature of their garden on their website. That's a bit disappointing. Just seeing what else they've got. No, that's a bit disappointing. I was hoping they might have a bit going on and talking about it. So I was hoping that I could suggest some of the things that I thought they might have had a little bit of a stock list or something, Stan, but no. Now, Glenn, following up on verticordias, I haven't tried them myself, but they're in the gardens here at times, but never seem to last past a year. That surprises me. I've seen some verticordias that have come out year after year. Let me just refresh, because generally the verticordias that I've grown have been red, or even there's some mauves. And of course, where they've been popular in ornamental horticulture has really been for um, cut flowers. Um, I'm just having a look through some of the references that I generally uh, would rely on and be feel happy quoting or relying on. Um, okay, one of the I've got perhaps a suggestion for that, Glenn. Um, is that they can uh, fall over quickly uh, in humid conditions. So they may do well for a year and then uh, uh, and then experience humidity and then uh, collapse maybe with some kind of fungal infection or something. Um, the main verticordia that I've grown is Verticordia grandiflora. Um, there's yeah. Um, Yeah, I didn't put verticordias in my list for today because they are difficult. And look, I ummed and ahed about the next one that I'm going to talk about. Um, uh, Stan's saying about their local. Stan, it's years since I've had anything to do with the buyers at Mitre 10s and Bunnings and whatnot, but many, many years ago, I did have, and the buyers at the Mitre 10s, if they were genuinely locally owned ones and not part of like a statewide group, because there are a lot of Mitre 10s that are part of 10 or 12 stores, and they have a main buyer who tells them what they can have for each of their categories. But if they're genuinely local, I would imagine that they'll have Myoporums, which are the Boobiella, and Eremophilus, and also some of the other adapted um, plants, even things like callistemons that have proven really good in the local areas, Melaleucas, whatnot. But perhaps when you scout them out, drop me a line or something and let me know, and uh, uh, I'll give you some feedback. Anyway, all right. So you're going to get 30 mil over the 3 days. That's pretty good. Okay, the next thing I wanted to that I will include is a Leschinolta, um, Leschinolta formosa. Now, this is a highly variable species too, and generally you'll find them in really bright red, but there are varieties and selections, I guess I should say, that are orange. They're a great rockery plant uh, and are ideal for hanging baskets, and they will trail over edges. So they're really good for softening edges, growing along paths, um, spilling over retaining walls, uh, cascading down hills and whatnot. So uh, they're really good use for that. Um, Late spring, right into the heat of summer, they will flower. So that would that's one that I would mention. Now let me see, what will we do next? What will we do next? I always talk mostly about plants that are great for Melbourne or Sydney, but I thought today I would uh, do a bit of a um, specialized uh, uh, specialized suggestions for Brisbane. Okay, so I know Glenn and Stan, you're probably not going to be interested, but who knows? Someone looking at, but then again, all of these are just about all of these that are cultivar varieties are really uh, ad- adaptable. So, um, so two of the grevilleas that I mentioned, Loopy Lou and Sunkissed, are ideal. Um, uh, Both Loopy Lou and Sunkissed are quite compact and dense, so they're a good shelter opportunity for small birds. Um, uh, and Sunkissed is also quite adaptable for hedging or clipping, so you can keep it under control. Banksia ericifolia, we already mentioned. Um, this is an interesting one, Stan. You might be interested in this one particularly. Um, there is a cultivar or a selection of Banksia coccinea, which is the scarlet flowered Banksia, but they call it white flame, and it's popular uh, in floriculture. It's grown for cut flowers. Developed at the Waite Institute. I think it used to be called the Waite Agricultural College, didn't it? And it is a orange selection of Banksia coccinea. So that one be good. One of the really obvious orange flowered uh, plants that you'll see featured when it's in flower in all of the nurseries is Corymbia fusifolia. Now, there is a selection that they call baby orange, and it's the red flowering gum. Uh, Generally, these are the grafted specimens you'll find in the nurseries with these uh, flower colour selections. Great for Brisbane, great for everywhere if you get one of those. Can be quite pricey, but look for the Corymbia fusifolia baby orange. Um, Flowers at the height of summer. Uh, of course, lorikeets go crazy for it. Um, uh, I'm sure you all know it. Hybertia solaris talked about before. Corazima caudatum out there. Oh, another grevillea. Apricot glow. I should have mentioned this one earlier too. This is uh, definitely an orange yellow rather than a orange pink. Um, and those are the ones I mentioned already. Mentioned the kangaroo paw bush inferno and the amber carpet eremophila. Okay. Now, before I rattle off some nurseries, oh no, I've got some more here. Oh, Grevillea honey gem, yeah, that's a really good one. Grevillea orange marmalade, Grevillea Sandra Gordon. Uh, Yeah, this one. There's quite a few here that I would call red more than orange. Uh, there's a Pimelia ferrugiana um, that if you put them in a sunny spot, this is something sometimes too. Uh, so this Pimelia ferrugiana, which is generally pink, um, or even pink drifting into mauve, but if it's exposed to sun, a full sun, it can show orange pink. So we'll throw that one in. Pimelia ferrugiana magenta mist. There is an orange form of Calithamnus quadrifagus. Now, Calithamnus is a Myrtaceae plant. Um, it's something between a Melaleuca and a Callistemon. Uh, really adaptable in terms of the soils that they'll grow in my experience, and has this feathery needle like foliage, but it's a little bit feathery, and some of the forms are a bit grey rather than green. But there is an orange form. Now I'm taking this on trust. I've never actually seen it with my own eyes, so I cannot tell you that it will be a uh, reliable. But look out for it. Calithamnus are an ideal addition to any native garden. Generally, the flowers are red for most of the uh, species, but look out for them. I'm just looking out. There's another common plant, Canedia prostrata, the running postman. There is a cultivar out there which, instead of having scarlet or brick red flowers, has more a burnt orange pea flower. So that one's a nice one to try. Okay, I'm going to just have a little bit of a break here. While I have a cuppa and just check the socials and see if anyone's been leaving us any comments or anything uh, on the Blue Sky or the Twitter Hell site. No, nothing on the Hell site. What on the uh, Blue Sky? No, just some people following. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello, Beth. If you're watching too, by the way. Now I'm just going to give you a couple of nurseries, a couple for each state, where some of these plants have been advertised recently online. Victoria, Kuranga Native Nursery. It's in Mount Evelyn, has a great website, and it is one of the places that I always look to first to see what's available. An online nursery called Plant Inspirations, but it is based in Victoria, but ships nationwide. Oztrees is also based in Victoria and ships nationwide. New South Wales, Sydney Wildflower Nursery. I think we talked about them before. Harvest seeds and native plants, and there is a good native nursery in Newcastle. I suspect they've got a bit on their hands at the moment. Might be they might be looking at preserving their stock at the moment. But yeah, Newcastle Native Nursery in Glendale. I really should. I really should do a. I really should do a website, shouldn't I? Or a separate page on the Bird Emergency where I put all this stuff. Yes, I really should, shouldn't I? Queensland, Australian Plants Online. I've bought quite a bit of stuff from there recently. When I had a look at this, and I did this a few days ago, they had 50 plus orangey, and we're talking that salmon pink, peach into orange, burnt orange coloration. So they had over 50 species. There's another one, Natives Are Us, which again is does a lot of online sales. And there is a local Sunshine Coast nursery called Forest Heart, based in Maloney. Never visited there, but it looks to be one worth support. South Australia, Stan, I don't know if you know this, but if you're ever out in Murray Bridge, there is a nursery called State Flora Nursery. Now, I've been there years ago. Used to have another name. I can't remember what it was, but I know where it is. Now, they've got over 1,000 native plants, and a lot of them are South Australia, Adelaide focused. So that one could be worth a visit if you're ever in Murray Bridge. Also, they have an outlet in Bel Air, but I've never been to that one. Coromandel Native Plants, Native Nursery, also has a pretty good range. Western Australia, we don't want to forget Western Australia. One of the best, Xanthorrhoea Nursery in Maida Vale. Australian Native Nursery in Oakford. Muchia Tree Farm, never been there, but really well reviewed online. And they're in Muchia. I don't even know where Muchia is, sorry. And Tasmania, of course, we can't leave Tasmania out. Redbreast Plants, Margate and Flowerdale, 2 outlets. And Plants of Tasmania in Ridgeway. 500 different species. ACT, Canberra Native Nursery, is the one that I know, and Cool Country Natives in Pielago. ACT's largest native nursery. And in Northern Territory, the one I always look at their website is Territory Native Plants. They do lots of sales and do Saturday morning specials and stuff. I think they're never been there, but I would like to, and I've reached out a few times to try and get them available to talk to us on a Saturday morning, because some of their stock range is amazing. Yeah, Stan says he does get to Murray Bridge. Yeah, I thought you would. I mean, pretty much everyone drives through Murray Bridge. Yeah. Now, so I did the Brisbane ones. So I think I'm about talked out of stuff. So anyone got anything they want to bring up, want to chat about? I'll just check the socials again. There we go. Another. No. Just looking on the X. Have to say I've been a bit distracted this week. Now I do know when I'm doing my final teaching, my final practicum for teaching, and that's on, I think, the 3rd of June. So after that, I will be done and dusted with the course. So I'll be able to go back to preparing better presentations for Saturday mornings for Habitat Gardening. What else did I want to share with you? I did want to share with you. I'm going to jump online later today and also tomorrow. I've got some politics thoughts, so that will be on Not Just Another Podcast. But I will begin those streams on the Facebook and the YouTube for the Bird Emergency, and then I will drop those streams off, encouraging people to come across to Not Just Another Podcast, which is where the politics, my politics content will be. I've got some thoughts about the coalition, and I don't have any good feelings that I can share about where we're going with conservation policy in Australia. And I've also got some thoughts about the way the floods that are affecting eastern and northern New South Wales are being covered in the media. It's very, very frustrating that they're still trotting out things like a once in 500 year flood when they got wiped out 2 years ago. Just crazy. Good stuff, Stan. Yeah, I'm gonna try really hard to be regular on that, and I'm gonna try to really hard to be a bit more regular now that this course is just about over. Get back into the swing of things, because I really did drop off when I've been. Yeah, other priorities for a while. Okay, any other general gardening questions or comments anyone's got? Gee, it's amazing. We always, even when I've got not when I don't feel I've got much to talk about, we still always crack on to an hour. So we'll just see if anyone's got any questions or comments. Gee, an hour old coffee. Delightful, hey? Delightful. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anyone bursting into the comment section, so I might pull the pin there. If you are interested in subscribing to Not Just Another Podcast on my YouTube channel, it's really easy. The icon is just type red and black on a white background, Not Just Another Podcast. You will find that easily. Otherwise, I will start all those streams on the Bird Emergency and encourage you to move over. So I'll be on later today, maybe 1-ish or 2-ish, after I've had a decent feed and uh, uh, I am seeing some interesting stuff on the socials, but none of it about our live stream. So there we are. Stan and Glenn, thanks for popping in. I hope nobody in the squad has been affected by the floods, but I suspect that anybody in New South Wales might be copping a fair bit of weather over the next week. Wet weather. We get weather every day. Um, so yeah, happy photographing out in the Bot Gardens this morning, Glenn. Stan, good luck with the nursery. If you do want to snap some shots of what they have available, feel free to um, send them to me on the socials, and um, I'll give you my thoughts. Thanks, everyone. See you next week on Habitat Gardening, 9:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Haven't decided on a topic, but I'll come up with one. Till then, happy gardening, and be nice to each other. Hooroo.